Christian Bale playing Joe. Imagine I just take off my face and it's Christian Bale. It wouldn't be so far-fetched. But I am Joe from the Retro Ranger Wrap-Up. Daniel's name tag's here. He's not here. Actually, so what happened with Daniel is
it's outside.
His birthday's coming up. I don't know if you know this or not.
When is his birthday?
December 18th.
Oh,
But
I did not know that.
he secretly bought tickets to a Nickelback concert. Didn't want anybody to know, and that's where he currently is. So everybody wish Daniel well at the Nickelback concert. It's his favorite band. So if you want to send Daniel Nickelback pictures, that would be perfect. You could send those to his Facebook at Daniel Jerome or the Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
I am here with Elle, though. We're going to be talking about the retro episodes of Power Rangers Zeo.
Yes.
And this show is really picking up. Before we get into all that fuzz, we have a few things to talk about. Number one is the Super Chat feature. You already know that helps support the show. We got a blue theme going on today. I didn't really realize that until right now. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Zeo, but the Super Chat feature helps support the show. Also gets your comments read immediately.
Yay.
So we all know that you guys want to chime in about these 3 episodes because
they're amazing.
They're pretty
good.
good.
There's one that I really didn't like, but we'll talk about that
Is it the
later.
baby crying one?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I hate babies.
I had a feeling.
Not hate babies, but I hate that baby crying sound. It oh God, it wrecks me.
So we're going to be talking about that. Super Chat feature. We also have the T Public store. If you want to get cool geek T-shirts, you have a. This is not
T Public, but it is a geek sweater.
Look at those beautiful shirts. Convention season is right around the corner, starting in January. Speaking of January, we're going to be at Pasadena Comic-Con. We have 2 panels there, actually.
Cool. What are the panels about?
One's a Red Ranger panel.
Ooh.
With Steve Cardenas and the Red Psycho Ranger. So we're going to be, I'm moderating that as of right now until schedule changes. And then also we have How to Break Into Geek Media. And this is going to be at Pasadena Comic-Con in January. But show up, support us. And if you want to learn how to break into geek media, come join our panel. And if you want to look sharp doing it, you don't have to wear a suit like me. All you got to do is wear one of our T Public shirts, which is in the description below. And show up with your geek swag, which if you were to show up in one of these shirts, what would they be?
The Avengers one. The Avengers mashup for sure.
Me? Freak. I just got that in the mail, by the way.
Oh, really?
I should have worn it today. Yeah, I got it in the mail.
That's actually fast shipping. You said you just ordered it
I ordered it
last week.
about a week ago.
Yeah.
It came, I think it came Thursday, maybe Wednesday. So it was pretty quick shipping. That is a hot shirt. If you actually go to TeePublic and you type in Power Rangers, that's like the 3rd shirt that comes up.
Oh, wow.
It is a very popular shirt. So get yours right now. And then at the beginning of the year, we'll have another one up. So we're almost going to make these like a collection. But not just a collection for this show. We also have a Quest for Player 2 shirt up.
Ooh.
We also have the Elle Tea Bagger shirt. We have Daniel's Battlestar Galactica shirt. You can support Daniel and his addiction to Nickelback by getting his shirt. We also got a Star Wars shirt for Star Wars fanatics. And our OG shirts. We got a video game shirt. Check them all out. But January, man, convention season's about to start up just as we ended it. So that's going to be coming right back. Daniel's nodding his head because he's like, man, convention season, it's a bummer. It's a drag. But it'll be a lot of fun this year around. We got a lot of panels coming up. It'll be a lot of fun. But we also have the THS Hashtaggers group.
Yes, we do.
So the THS Hashtaggers group is a group for all of us to convene, talk about the things we love, like Power Rangers, like Doctor Who, man. We're going to be talking about Doctor Who later on today. And I can't wait, actually. I don't know why I wish we could have just done it right now. Because there's a lot to talk about there. Yeah, it's fresh in my mind. But we have a lot to talk about with Doctor Who. But we're here to talk some retro Power Rangers, some Power Rangers Zeo. So, Elle, before we get into each and every one of these episodes, I have to ask you, so far we're 6 episodes in.
Yeah.
And I really hyped this show up. And
you really did.
And I remember thinking...
Every single time, I feel like every single episode you'd be like, I cannot wait until we get to Zeo.
And then, I mean, even watching these back, I think they still hold up. But
they do.
They do a really good job of telling a longer story. It's like a longer game to me. I think that they do a really good job of really flushing out characters. I feel like in this one episode, which we have Target Ranger, we learn more about Rocky in this than we probably have through his whole run in Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's jump right into this and start talking about Target Ranger. This is episode 4, Power Rangers Zeo. It is written by Stuart St. John and directed by Vicky Brana. No relation to Kenneth Branagh. Actually, I don't know. Probably a relation to Kenneth Branagh.
Somewhere along the way.
Yes.
Shakespearean connections.
But that just shows how progressive Power Rangers was. They were getting female directors in there. That sounded weird when I said that out loud. But let's talk about Target Rangers. This is a Rocky-focused episode.
Yeah.
And what did you think? Walk me through what you thought about this.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. We haven't seen a whole lot of in-depth Rocky episodes, I guess. We don't know a whole lot about him, but the goofiness definitely came out where he's falling in his chair. He doesn't really have the moves with the lady. He gets shot down. I don't know. And he takes it really well, though. Like, at the end, I thought the ending of this episode kind of, like, made me like him a lot.
I love the fact, though, that the one thing that I love is Rocky. Because you'd assume that, oh, you're a Power Ranger. All these guys are athletic. They're ladies, men. Yeah, especially cool. Adam was dating everybody. Billy was, too. Tommy has a consistent girlfriend. And Rocky was kind of just there. And now he's like, oh, you know what? I got the touch. I got the touch. No, he didn't. No. But you know who did have the touches? Toku Kid. He gives us a super chat already. Right. Watch when Billy morphs into Zeo -3 later.
-3?
Nah. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He obviously is watching an alternate version of Power Rangers Zeo. Okay. Thank you so much, Toku. But let's get back on track here. You really ended up liking Rocky at the end of this.
Yeah, I did, because I don't know, it's one of these things where we get introduced to Jennifer, who is very study focused, and I kind of felt like she was giving some pretty obvious, like, clues of, like, hey, I'm not really interested in you, or not interested in dating right now. But I like how he calls her out at the end. It was like, hey, you seem kind of mean to me. Like, what did I do to you? And, like, having that confidence to at least confront this situation that's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And then they actually do hit it off. And I was like, you know, that's kind of a hard situation to tackle, and I thought he did it wonderfully, actually.
Also, I mean, jumping to the end real quick, yeah. I do love the line when she's like, oh, I'm busy, I can't go out with you, I'm busy over the weekend or something. And then she's like, listen, I'm really busy over the weekend, I can't go out with you.
Yeah, but rain check.
Right, and I dig that because it's like, all right, you didn't, I like the fact that Rocky doesn't walk away with the girl.
Yeah.
But, and it humanizes him. This is a really good, I could tell that the writers are really striving to develop the characters, not just make them, oh, they're just superheroes. They're actually
and they win everything. And I feel like these 3 episodes actually do really show that. Like, they're kind of more student lives, that they have other issues going on, and how being a Power Ranger kind of might affect that. So, this was a good episode.
Do you think that, because I think that the strength of Zeo is everything that's almost outside of their costumes, outside of their suits. So talk to me, and the world building, because we get Jennifer, and Shawn's a reoccurring character, obviously.
Oh, man, the other week when I was, like, backing up Shawn, being like, he learned. In the next episode we talked about, we'll get into that, but, you know.
I love that we get some misogyny and eventually into this. But let's and actually, a lot of these episodes are very relevant to the era. However, some of it does feel dated. Let's talk about some computer programming skills.
Oh,
some discs here. Those don't exist anymore.
And the floppy disks only held, like, what? Like, megabytes at the most. And that was, like, the state-of-the-art one. So the fact that they were able to save that whole entire program on that floppy disk, it's like, no, it's like hackers and their screensavers as they're hacking.
Yes, exactly.
It's super dated technology, but it's fun. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I wanted to say, oh, that's not that long ago. It's like 20 years ago.
And when you think of how fast technology progresses, like, I don't know, our audience is a lot younger, so, but it's like, I didn't have internet growing up. So
you didn't have internet growing up?
In high school was the first time in AOL dial-up, but from that into having everything on a phone, like, that is insane to me. Like, this is sci-fi.
Yeah, seriously, when they really mean at your fingertips, they really mean at your fingertips.
Yeah.
We got another super chat. This is by Pyrabel57. Thank you so much for your super chat, Pyrabel. I see that you didn't leave a comment, so if you want to say something,
we will read that anyway.
And we'll answer it.
Post.
That's right. That was let's talk about the morphed scenes here. What did you think? Because now that we're 4 episodes in, we're kind of getting more of the same of what we get in every other Power Ranger episode.
But I feel like the combat, at least,
it's getting better.
It's better. Mm-hmm. Like, the martial arts or the choreography of what's going on is actually really engaging. Whereas before, it was kind of not paying attention towards the end of Mighty Morphin. But this, I thought, was super good. Like, they all kind of stand their own.
They do. And I also like that, because I love that people would always say, oh, Rocky's the second in command. He absolutely does not feel like he's the second in command.
It is Adam.
It's
and
100%
I feel like
Adam.
Adam actually does have the physical capabilities, too, to fight off. And I feel like,
Rocky.
Who says that Rocky's the second in command?
Well, that was a note that people had said that, since Rocky was red, now he's blue, he's second.
No, Zordon
not the case here.
Changed the colors to, like, demote him a little bit more.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't get to be red anymore, Rocky.
But I also like the simple fact that Rocky does come off somewhat irresponsible.
He does.
And
like, even Jennifer was like, yo, boy, I know, like, we don't work together a lot, but you seem to lose a lot of things. And my grade's really important, and you don't care. Like, I can immediately read him.
We've all had those people in school that have either been the Rocky or the Jennifer.
Okay, who are you? Are you a Rocky or a Jennifer?
I'm neither, actually. I'm neither. I'm not. I wasn't super like about my grades, but I did well in school, but also I wasn't I was more Tommy because I was halfway there. There was like 1 year where I just missed school for like 56 days.
That's a lot.
I was a student athlete. I could get away with that kind of stuff.
Oh. Life is hard for you.
Truth. Anyway, I think the thing that we love about Rocky the most, though, is that he is a humanized character here. Yeah. He isn't a great student. He is
not slick with the ladies.
And he's also he's not definitely not slick with the ladies. But he's also very irresponsible. It seems.
Or at least that's a vibe that the other classmates already pick up about him. So.
And I almost even think with amongst the other Rangers, they're like.
I mean, like, he had that chemistry experiment that exploded, and when he was trying to be the teacher for a day, like, you know, he's not painted as the most academic.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like, he's not the most academic. Like, it started earlier, but this is really showing it, and having other people comment on it is kind of a big thing.
Yeah, I definitely think I think that it's kind of like commentary on that, but I also do like the fact I'm the one thing I'm more curious about during the writing process of this is how much they said, you know what, we kind of want Rocky to be this type of character, but actually how much Steve Cardenas maybe contributed to that. Because I've interviewed Steve Cardenas, which you can find here in the archives of that hashtag show, and he talks about how he wanted Rocky to be like that, and he wanted to do more comedic stuff to be more along the lines of Jim Carrey, who was really hot at the time. And you can kind of see in some of Rocky's performance that even though he's not necessarily an over-the-top physical comedian actor.
But it is starting to show.
It's starting to show, yeah.
Because even when, like, the command center and when they morph from being kids to adults, he hits his head, like, on the...
Exactly.
You know...
I almost felt when they grew up, for some odd, like, when they went back in time, like, before Rocky was, like, a straight-A student, and then somewhere along the way, when they moved time, he became an idiot. Yeah, the volcano, yeah, exactly.
Got to him.
And they
like, fried his brain
they
being that close to the
immediately
volcano.
set the tone when he bumps his head. Yeah. It's like, oh... Yes, this is the character we're going to go with.
But it makes him more endearing and likable, and like you said, like, kind of relatable. Like, he's not perfect.
I mean, look, you can almost replace Rocky with Skull,
yeah.
And they're very similar,
yeah.
Right? So I think that, like, with that being said, especially Skull in this season, I can't wait for you to start exploring Skull a little bit, because he actually gets a decent development as well.
Can we talk about something really quick?
Yeah.
So where is Goldar and Rito? Where's, like,
They're
Rita?
slaves.
Yeah,
they're like dogs. They live in the garage.
So Bulk and Skull go on their like daily adventures and like keep them in the garage and be like, don't mess anything up.
They make them tidy up the garage. That's their job.
Because we haven't really seen Rita, Zed, and Goldar and Rito in these episodes, and I was like, wait, where are they? What are they doing?
I do think that's a glaring plot hole, obviously, that we're not really going to see that.
I mean, it's fine that we don't address it, but I thought it was kind of weird that was kind of left in limbo without any comments.
We do get another super chat by Toku Kitty. Says, Zeo feels more open to different locations. I agree with that. It seems like we're exploring the world of Angel Grove more. I mean, the city of Angel Grove more. It seems like now we're starting to get this grandiose kind of city.
Like an actual city and not just monsters in this one particular park every single day.
Exactly. And also, I mean, funnily enough, we're starting to see more of that in Angel Grove as well, because we're starting to explore more of Angel Grove. It's not just, I was going to say the Peach Pit. It's not just the juice bar.
Yeah.
It's also, this new study hall, this new, the computer lab. The junkyard.
That has stuff being stolen except for, like, the cogs were building the monster in the junkyard, so technically all the pieces were still there, but,
Chat me up about how you felt they kind of integrated this into the monster of the week. This story played very well into that.
I actually like that the machinist, what are they?
The machine
Empire, that they actually build these instead of like clay, so they kind of play on the same idea, but it's more themed and they're all mechanical and they're all metal, and it's like, it's kind of fun that they're resourceful.
Oh, Parabel 57, who did give us that super chat, does have something to ask. Do you guys think the writers were always planning on Tommy and Kat relationship after Kimberly left? Because for crying out loud, foreshadows their future, and then we had the Soul of the Dragon.
From the beginning, I felt like they set them up. Like, Kat obviously had that crush on Tommy, was trying to, like, push out Kimberly.
But I felt it was more interestingly played in Mighty Morphin, mainly because, like, it was the first sense of Kat that we ever had this, like, love triangle thing.
Yeah.
Where she's like, no, I want this guy. And I almost wish we would have leaned a little bit more into that.
Like unrequited love, and now we're like co-workers fighting aliens.
Yeah, because then I think that you almost get this sense, especially in Zeo, in the beginning of Zeo, you almost get this sense that that storyline gets dropped a little bit, but then picked right back up. And I don't know, maybe it's aesthetically for me, I mean, chemistry-wise for me, I think that Tommy, Jason David Frank probably has more chemistry with Amy Jo Johnson. Because I always thought that the Tommy-Kat relationship was just a little off to me. Well,
I think Kimberly's personality is more bubbly as a character to begin with, so that kind of automatically eases you into her, and she's friendly. She's always like one of those that's like always touching, like, hey, how's it going? Hugs to everyone. Like, I don't know you. You can move into my house. That's totally cool. Versus Kat is a little more reserved, and I think kind of like still worried if she's still evil or may go back to that, or, you know, wondering if any of the Rangers have any animosity towards her.
That would have been a very interesting storyline to play with. We got another super chat by Batusi. He says, another good Rocky-centric episode is Mondo's Last Stand, which we'll see later on down in the season. But I want to address something real quick. Just so you guys know and don't expect this every week, I am not going to dress like this every week. Thank you guys for your compliments this week. I came from somewhere else, but I am here, live, and next week I'm going to be wearing one of our T Public t-shirts. The mighty. I want to wear the legacy or the
Avengers.
The Avengers one. I think
you just got that too. So.
Thank you. Oh, look at this guy. It's Zach. You guys don't know who Zach is, but yes, and also Elle's gonna choose her favorite article this week.
I do. We got a lot. I'm actually surprised by all of your submissions. They were so great.
Her and I were texting earlier on this week, and she was like, "Wow, we got a lot of submissions." And she actually, I'm gonna give her a lot of credit here. She broke down 3 of them. And she said that those 3 articles were very good for very different reasons.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we're going to land on one, and that article is going to get published right here tomorrow on that hashtag show. So look out. Hard. Yeah, I'm excited to see which one you choose. Okay, let's go back into this episode. We have this. Thank you guys so much for the compliments on my attire today.
But you are really dressed up, and you usually do wear like just a geek T-shirt, and that. But where were you?
I was. All right. So, are you a fan of The Office?
Yes.
I was interviewing Steve Carell for his new movie, Welcome to Marwen. I will say this. And
Is that the movie? He's shooting movies that's like PTSD. Okay.
I will say this though. It took everything in my power, not to call him Michael. I swear to you, it's almost like when you go in, like, don't call him Michael, and then as soon as they called me, and I was like, I'm gonna call him Michael. I'm gonna call him. Yep, I was like, Mr. Carell. Yeah, it took everything in my power not to call him Michael Scott, but he was awesome. Thank you guys so much for your compliments. But let's get back on track here. I really think here that this episode does so much to flush out Rocky's character, but at the same time, I do, like you said, the aesthetic of what the Machine Empire kind of does with the way the monsters look.
Yes. I
love that. Because it almost looks more organic than anything else.
And it shows that they're capable in how they created their army and how they've like conquered so much. They're resourceful villains, I guess. Like,
very much so.
Because they're building this on Earth. They're like, well, this is what we have to work with on Earth. Let's just do what we can. And like that monster kind of kicks their butt.
It does. I actually like that too. I like that too because I like that this Silo monster here does kind of get an upper hand on the Rangers because it shows that the Machine Empire is a force to be reckoned with.
He takes them to the sun. Like that is super impressive. Yes. I was like, for a second, I was like, already they just got their Zords. How is it going to burn up in flames?
I love that. Automatically in episode 4, you get stakes with this new team.
Yes.
And it shows this dominance that the Machine Empire just has.
Yeah.
And it makes sense why they discarded Zed and Rita so quickly. Because they are such a force to be reckoned with. And I love the fact that we get to lean into that a little bit.
I hope it's not like Zed, though, because Zed came in, like, super strong, tried to dominate. I thought he was going to be the one, but, man, Machine Empire.
I'll say this, that It's not, because the way that they kind of handle King Mondo and the Machine Empire, they really do have to beat him, and it's not just like there's somebody tougher than you.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of play into some tropes, and Zed even kind of gives his comeuppance a little bit.
Ooh.
But they definitely play into it. I know you want that. But I think that's a good thing. That's 100% a good thing, that they make their villains look menacing in the season.
And it's good because, I don't know, this was super crazy, and introducing like the new mechanics where I wasn't sure if this was going to be a one-off of like, hey, multiple helmets, let's sell more toys and accessories.
Well, I'm sure that was a part.
I mean, it is, but I mean, already in these 3 episodes, it does come back, and it shows that they actually do need these upgrades for once. Before, they got upgrades for no real reason. It's like, oh, putties are strong, let's have like sparkly suits. It's like, it's the same thing, or the Tangas, like it's the same thing that you've been fighting this whole time.
Let me ask you a question, actually, because these new helmets for the Zords actually come from Zeo 1 and 2's Zord.
Yeah.
Did this make that any better for you, knowing that?
It did. I still feel like Cat's
it's still kind of a gimmick, right?
Yeah, it is. And like the pyramid thing, I was like, lasers come out of the pyramid? Like, that makes no sense. Like, everything that's like, oh, power boosters, okay, like gravity defying powers, all right, pyramid lasers, and then more cannons.
I do have a question for all you guys, and we're going to do a new challenge here. I want you guys to tweet us. Tweet us with which of those helmets you like the best, and we're going to retweet that and get your Twitter profile out there. But tweet at us and use the Twitter, use the hashtag, this is that hashtag show, use the hashtag THS Power Rangers, and we'll retweet it for you right then and there. All right, so is there any other notes you have about this particular episode?
I don't know, because like the screenshots that producer was having up, like obviously Rocky and Adam were kind of, paired up in this one. And I thought it was really cool that Adam kind of calls him out, where Rocky's like, oh, I don't like her, she's like super mean. And he was like, no, she challenges you, she's super intelligent, you actually do like her. And, like, Adam is the honest, good friend that you should go to for advice.
Yes.
Like, he is the real friend, I feel
Who
like.
reminds you of Adam on hashtag show? There's somebody that does remind me of him.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know everyone, like, super well. I feel like I work with you guys the most.
It's Jezzer.
Is it really?
Jezzer reminds me of Adam.
Like, he will just come up and be like, nah, not good for you. Or, yes. Actually, I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that.
We got 2 super chats back to
right.
back, guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys are on fire today.
What do we got?
We got Nasty. No.
What?
Yeah, Nasty. Is it Nogori? Ngori? Nogori?
Nagori?
Ngori?
I would say Nagori. Correct us if we're wrong with like phonetic spelling, please.
Yes. They say, so would you have Billy over Rocky in Blue Zeo? Would you have Billy over Rocky in Zeo Blue instead?
I don't know. I like Billy's role as the Steve Jobs character, like calculating everything, making all the upgrades, keeping him still there. But I do like Rocky. Like, this episode really does make me like him.
I agree. I think that you with Billy, you push that character to as far as he can go.
Yeah.
Not quoting Linkin Park, just saying. But you do push that character as far as he can go. And I think at this point, he kind of owns his leadership role in the command center. And that's where he's best utilized.
He really is, because Alpha is useless and Zordon likes to keep secrets. So Billy is the one like actually orchestrating everything. I think his role is perfect.
They should have just got rid of Zordon and
at least Alpha, especially in the next episode. Oh man, I'm so mad at Alpha.
I can't wait to talk about that. We got another super chat from Batusi.
All right,
says,
another one.
There was no explanation of the Zeo weapons either.
Oh yeah, like random
Glaring problem, obviously.
But I'm kind of used to that. Like, they would have, their weapons in the first one, like power daggers, and it's like never comes up or randomly comes up when it's like convenient. Power bow. Okay, yeah, you definitely have that.
Let me ask you a question here off the cuff. If you had to choose your own power weapon, what would that be?
Oh man, like, I don't know. First thing that comes to mind is a bayonet, so I could shoot and stab.
That's pretty.
I don't know.
It's almost like Zach's battle axe, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know who had did you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Mac had his own battle axe. It was like the shotgun.
Really?
It was a shotgun axe. It was a shotgun axe.
Awesome.
So it was pretty cool.
Then what would your weapon be? Flamethrower. I feel like you would be like Elon Musk.
I almost want something that's completely useless, like nunchucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like power nunchucks. I really can't do much. Or what's that weapon called where it's like a stick and it has like a chain and like a
mace?
A mace, yeah, I want a mace. Like you just swirl it around, right? I've never seen that yet. But
that would be pretty impressive.
If you can use a mace effectively, yes.
Yeah.
I would die in the medieval times, obviously. But I do like this grouping of this episode in particular. Cat, you got to do us a favor. What do you guys give this in the chat? Elle, what do you give it?
This was a fun episode. I don't know if it's like the pinnacle of Zeo yet, but I want to give it a 4.
I'm also going to give it a solid 4. We got notes. As soon as I get to these notes, then I'm going to read your guys' ratings of this. But Tracy Belushi, this is the notes. Tracy Belushi, who appeared as Jennifer, previously appeared in as Zaris in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Morphin's A Friend in Need. So remember with Prince Dax?
Oh my goodness, she was one of
She was the one with the crystal on her head. She was the one in the robe. She's one of them.
Oh, weird. That's kind of cool how they just kind of bring back the same actors, like the one that was curating the museum. She came back as,
we also had in this episode, Clank and Orbis are upgraded with the ability to enlarge monsters.
See, I kind of like that, with the little minion being like...
I really like Orbis. Yeah. I don't know why, but Orbis is kind of like this cute, adorable, like kind of guy.
It's just like Upgrade.
Yeah.
It like plugs in and like makes things big.
This episode marks the first face-to-face encounter between the Power Rangers and King Mondo.
Okay.
There are some errors in this episode, but let's see what you guys give in the chat real quick before I get to these errors. Ooh, we got a lot of you guys in here.
All right.
Megan Hines gives it a 4. Toko gives it a 4 out of 5. We got John's Boy 777 a 4. Explosive Phoenix 4. Pyrabelle 57 gives it a 3. Edward gives it a 4. Robin Chan gives it a 4.5. Wow. Matthew Thompson gives it a 4 out of 5. Batusi 3.99.
So close.
No, sorry. 4.3.
Oh, okay.
99. Daniel would be pissed with you at that.
But he's not here. He's not watching Nickelback.
He's watching Nickelback right now.
No,
he's not. He is. He's absolutely is watching. No, seriously.
Did he lie to me when you text me?
He did. He didn't want anybody to know. He's at the Morongo Casino right now watching Nickelback. Thomas Franco gives it a 4.5. We got Matt gives it a 4. Matt. First of all, how'd you get the name Just Matt? You must have been the first Just Matt on YouTube. Common Rider Sentai gives it a 4 out of 4. Larry Newbill 4.5. Parabelle gives it a 3 again. Anthony Davis 2 Eyebrows gives it a 4.5. Funny K Comics a 4. We got
chat.
Blue DJ 3.5 and a super chat from Nasty. All right, so the G is silent, so it's Nasty Nori.
Nasty Nori.
The G is silent. Thank you so much for letting us know. Now we know. And I hope to. Listen, I'm terrible with names, even if I see people face to face. But I'm going to remember this. It's Nasty Nori from this point forward. Jared Hodges, rounding us out, giving it a 4 out of 5. All right, I do like the fact that everybody's on board with this, but there are some errors in this episode, and we got to go over those. Jennifer stated that she intended to wipe and reboot the main hard drive in order to restart the computer game. In reality, this would surely delete the game from the computer.
Thank goodness Rocky had that small little memory disk.
So writers take note. They did not know about technology.
I don't blame them.
I didn't.
This was at its infancy, so.
Exactly. Jennifer put a password to stop anyone accessing the resource center's computer, despite the computer being up for public use.
I mean, you can have your own personal login with, like, on the same computer.
I mean, I think different people can log into my computer if they create a password. Despite being... You're not allowed to log into my computer, by the way, anybody here. Despite being quite experienced with computers, Jennifer chose Mock as her password. Daniel Nagami would tell you this is an insecure choice. And also wrote it down, which is potentially another security issue.
And gave it to Rocky, which is like the most major security issue. But
Jennifer, we talk about Rocky being irresponsible. Jennifer, you might be just as irresponsible in this situation. It's not explained why Silo looks exactly the same as a robot fighter in the computer game, but we can assume...
Because he was like... inserted with that memory, and that's how he was asking questions and then exploded these people with missiles.
They built it first, though. They did build it first. The unintroduced Zeo jet cycles are briefly shown behind the Rangers as they confront Silo and King Mondo. So we don't really get an explanation about that, but I'm sure we'll get it. Silo has a black square projection sticking out from his back, which is missing in the U.S. footage. And Zeo Ranger 4's battle helmet, controlled by Adam, supposedly used gravity power. However... it was then used to break the chains around the Zeo Megazord. In fact, it appears that the Zeo battle helmet that could control gravity, it appears that Zeo Ranger 3's battle helmet could control gravity, not Adam's.
Yeah, because he was like lifting it up with his laser powers.
Exactly. Billy stated that Zeo Ranger 2 battle helmet used rocket power. However, Tommy later called it jet power. Tommy just wanted to change it.
I mean, jets are cool.
And Tommy said, you know what, Billy? I'm calling what I want.
He is a leader, so...
I'm the leader here. I'm the leader here, 4 eyes, even though you don't wear glasses anymore. Now we have Elle's favorite episode.
Oh, goodness.
For crying out loud.
No, but really.
So I remember when I told you that there's
this one gets negative points.
That there's an episode where they have to teach them how to be parents, essentially. This is it.
See, like, in high school, you got a little, like, hard-boiled egg, but no, Kat has to one-up everyone with a real baby. Like, that was a responsible choice, Kat.
And if I was Tommy, at that point, I'd be like, I'm never dating this woman.
Right? And I feel like, you know, birth control is kind of this home ec class.
Fun fact, I was actually baby Joey. I'm just kidding.
I believe it.
That would have been funny,
I believe a lot of things you say, and there are a lot of lies.
Well, you know what's not a lie is Daniel's excursion to go see Nickelback. I don't even know a Nickelback song, actually. What's a Nickelback song?
You remind me.
I don't know it. But Daniel loves he loves him some Nickelback and some Creed. If you can take him higher.
How many arms wide open would you give this, Daniel?
I love the reference.
Yes.
All right, so let's start talking about this episode because I love that look on Tommy's face.
It's like, what are you doing, Kat? I totally sympathize with Tommy in this episode 100%.
Every male that was probably like 16 or 17 or older, when they had that look as well, when it's like, oh, somebody's pregnant, he's like, what? What now? I love that look that Tommy has because that's universal. That you can relate to. That look, Jason David Frank captured perfectly. I'm with you on this episode. I'm not. Look, I love that he tries to get away too. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is kind of like. I don't know if that would make Tommy the best dad because it's kind of like.
But he's in high school. He doesn't need to be a dad. He hasn't made that choice yet, and it's for a project. They're Power Rangers. They're often put in danger and have to be called away at a moment's notice. Why is Kat bringing the baby to school? Can't she like babysit after? Like, isn't that how babysitting works? Like, you still have to go to school. You don't babysit at school.
Yeah, that's we talk about Rocky being irresponsible. Whoever's parents Joey had. Geez, what are you doing giving a high schooler your baby during class?
During class. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I got this project.
Can I borrow your baby so I can get an A?
You know what's interesting about this though, and I really do find this interesting, is that Tommy is the leader, and most leaders of most teams, not just Power Rangers, but teams in general, have this sense of like nobility, right? This sense of like responsibility. I love the fact
he does when he's a Power Ranger. He didn't sign up to be a baby
daddy. He didn't
daddy.
sign up to be a dad either, but I love the fact that he just tries to silently walk out of the room, and she's like, no. Come here, and he's like, But this is something they do with Tommy throughout the season, actually.
Oh, okay.
They make him a leader that's relatable. And I think that's something they didn't capture with Jason. I think that with Jason, the only thing that I found relatable is summertimes in California when I was a kid, where I also didn't have to wear sleeves. So that's the only thing I find relatable about Jason. With Tommy, though, this is almost a situation that I would have reacted in the same almost manner.
Yeah.
I think you would have, too.
I would have, too. But... also, I am not...
Look at that face that he's making. That's classic, like, you did what now?
But on so many levels, and even all of the other team members are like, the kid, why? And they're making fun of Tommy, and I would too, because I'd be like, you picked the wrong partner for this project. Good job for getting your A.
I do like that as well. I like the banter between the Rangers, because it does make them feel like a real group of friends.
Because you would tease.
You would tease, absolutely.
I mean, of course, being supportive when it calls for it, but you would always tease your friends. And this was great.
Why do you think we call Jezer Cookie Face all the time?
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, we would definitely tease. I think that's perfect. I like the fact, too, that they don't hold back on that. And Tommy takes it in stride, as you would with friends. He's like, very funny.
Yeah.
But have you ever had a project
and I pressed it too hard and smashed the baby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Kat would be so upset with you when that baby dies.
Like that would. But I mean, she put it in danger. She gave it to Alpha at one point. Why would you give?
Whoa.
No, that was Kat. Because Kat's like, Alpha's like, hey, I got it under control.
If there's one
Kat's
thing
like,
we know, Alpha is great with kids.
Alpha is horrible.
Did you not see him with or young Dylan? He is great with kids.
Where he passed out.
He did pass out.
And Dylan had to take care of Alpha.
The little baby Joey's like taking care of Alpha. I think that this episode, I think it's an interesting concept. And I do like the fact that they're fleshing out characters.
Yes.
It does make me like Kat less, though.
I liked her significantly less. And I have always been behind her from the beginning. Where I was like, oh, you're a Power Ranger. I accept this. I immediately like you. This like knocked off at least 50 points.
I don't disagree with you, and I almost feel Tommy's pain throughout the whole way.
Same. This was a cringe-worthy episode, and like the baby cries, like the screaming. I can't stand that in real life. Like it makes me want to cry.
You know,
like,
this is nails on a chalkboard to me.
Yeah.
Like every single time the kid would scream and you'd hear the rumbling, it's almost like, oh, this is. Honestly, it's almost like a perfect Power Ranger episode because it's like, I hate this noise too.
Yeah.
And now I want to shut this baby up.
Yeah.
I really, really like that.
I mean, I do too, and it's like on par with like Sirens, where you're like, no.
Yes. Babies
why?
crying is on pars with Sirens. That
Yes.
is 100% true.
Yes.
Sirens, babies crying, nails on chalkboards. 3 things I hate hearing.
Yes.
Facts.
No, I agree. But yeah, this episode, immediately when I found out it was like a baby and like the power that they're harnessing was crying, I was like, this episode gets minus 1,000 points.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that if you're using this for annoyance factor, then you're at a 5.
Yes.
But if you're using this for a plot device, I actually think the plot device is actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I think that structurally the episode's really good. It's the annoyance factor. It's like,
I couldn't.
Can I say I wanted to punch the baby?
I mean,
Can I say that?
You didn't. I guess you could you could say whatever you want, I guess, but I mean, you're gonna get backlash at some point.
Like I didn't want to punch the baby. I wanted to punch Kat for bringing the baby to school.
Yeah, it was Kat. Like Kat is irresponsible. I was mostly mad at her, and like even at the end where it's like, hey, you guys did such a great presentation. Can you babysit my twins? And Tommy's trying to get away. I don't know. If I were Tommy, I'd be like, no, I'm busy.
If I was Tommy, I would never date Kat. By the way, chat me up about Bulk and Skull's role in this episode.
What were they doing in this episode? I don't even
remember.
They
did get baby Joey for a second, right? They helped. No, I'm confusing this with like Mighty Morphin for some reason.
Because they were watching that one kid and trying to change his diapers in Mighty Morphin.
They couldn't do it. Yeah, that's right.
No, they were late.
Zone.
They were late. So Bulk and Skull in this episode, like Lieutenant Stone was trying to like pour out ketchup like really hardcore and having a hard time, and Bulk and Skull were like in their little motorcycle sidecar thing and crashed into Ernie's juice bar, and I feel like we never saw them again.
Yeah, they don't play a big role into this episode.
This was a small, and like I feel like that was it.
Let's talk about the monster and the plot device here. The baby crying I actually thought was really smart.
The boo-hoo clown thing? Oh,
hey, terrifying.
I don't like clowns either. This episode minus 5,000 points. I changed my mind. So I don't like the monster either.
The clown, that thing looks terrifying.
It also
has if Five Nights at Freddy combined with like R2-D2, terrifying.
And the fact that it's like head lifts up and it's like
I don't like it.
And Steele's baby screams.
It's like a dialect. It's like a clown version of a dialect that is infused with it. I don't like it.
It sounds like a princess head though, like princess hats.
Princess Peach as well.
Yeah.
There's some influences there. Whoever thought of that in Japan, you are a sick freak because you just went off on the rails. I wish I could interview some of these guys. Like, hey, what kind of dreams do you have at night? Because this is terrifying. And I think that they do a good job though of showing us a plot device that incorporates a baby, but also incorporates this childlike imagination of a clown.
A horrifying one, and it's like, it's not the happy clown, it's boohoo clown, because its eyes are super sad and steals your screams and then projects those screams at amplified, what do you call it, noises?
I hate that.
I don't know.
Anything you amplify with noise is the worst
Especially
ever.
A baby scream.
Baby screams and sirens. Give me a siren episode and I am out, homie.
Yeah.
But
also this one.
And this one.
This is my least favorite episode I think I've ever seen of any Power Rangers.
Wow, that's a bold statement. So
I'll stand by that from here until the end of days.
I don't disagree, mainly because the baby crying in this is torture.
It's horrible. That baby is so cute too, and it just makes such an awful sound.
So Justin, throwing this back, Justin actually just interviewed Christian Bale.
Oh yeah.
And I know how you're thinking, how does this tie in? Well, Christian Bale told him he did some research on Dick Cheney, and he said that the way that instead of when they shut down Guantanamo Bay, they would just make people listen to baby crying all the time to torture them.
Goodness.
So
I'm
just kidding. That's not a true story.
Oh man, I was like, waterboarding.
I'll take waterboarding. I do like a bit like Billy's a nice dad.
And why did Billy literally teleport the baby to the command center in the first place instead of watching Alpha like try to like not protect the baby, being like, "Hey, I'll protect it." Just kidding, I'm shut down immediately.
Well, there's a lot of wrongs in this episode, Elle.
You are so useless.
So we can blame Al Winchell for this one. Al, what were you thinking? This was directed by Robert Radler.
And I feel like these are fairly new names to our writer-director.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a great episode for your first. I'm so sorry.
Chat, what do you give it? I gotta know.
I'm waiting for that one person to give it a 5.
Somebody's
gonna say
gonna
that you're
give it a
trolling.
5.
You're a troll.
Somebody's gonna give it a 5.
1,000%.
What do you give it?
I just told you I gave it a negative 5,000.
Negative 5,000 might be your
5,000.
lowest rating yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 1.
Oh, that's generous.
Actually, no, I'm gonna give it a 2. And
Really?
here's why. Tommy is also humanized.
It's true.
And
You can humanize him in other ways.
that's enough for me. Let's get to some notes before we get into your
Yes.
rankings. We have some notes. This is the first use of the Zeo laser pistols in their advanced mode, which is formed by the Zeo Power Pod sword and the pistols to enhance the blaster. This is also the first and only time we see Alpha laying on a medical table. I don't know why that's a note, but it is. First time the shortened morph sequence is shown, whereby we see a shot of Tommy being suited up is his ranger form, followed by the 4-way split screen with all the other rangers. Billy's teleportation color is shown, which is to be white in this episode. It's the first time we see that as well. This is also the Zeo Megazord fight scene was used in a PC game, Power Rangers Zeo Active Words.
Oh.
Active Words is a real game? I didn't even know that. This is also the Masked Rider episode, Battle of the Bands, premiered on the same day as this episode. Again, I don't know why that's a note. There are also some errors in this, and then we're going to get right to your rankings, so thank you so much.
Yes.
The errors. Billy stated that he wouldn't be able to locate Joey until he cried again. However,
He
Alpha...
didn't cry.
Yeah, Alpha soon detected him at the power plant. Also, while the cogs in the Sentai footage were both colored variants holding spears, the U.S. footage cogs were without the spears and only colored silver. Boo-hoo was on his feet after Tommy attacked, but was shown lying down when Clank threw Orbis down.
Oh, okay.
Small errors, but you know.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Continuity.
We also got some chats from you guys. Megan Hines gives it a 2. Blue JD gives it a 5. Toku also gives it a 5 with the
You guys
crying.
are trolls. You guys are definitely trolls. I don't believe you.
Parabel 57 gives it a 3. Johnny Boy 777 3.9. We got Explosive Phoenix gives it a 2. Edward Sanchez gives it a 4. Kamen Rider Sentai negative 5.
Thank
Larry
you.
Newell gives it a 2. We also got Jared Hodges giving it a 2. We got Cat Yellow Ranger 3. Thomas Franco gives it a 5. Batusi gives it a 3. Funny K Comics 2.5. Wow. You surprised by those rankings?
I am. They are incredibly high, considering mine is negative like 10 million. So.
All right, let's get to our last episode
Yes.
of the week. Now,
Man, this one was an infuriating.
we're gonna fly
episode.
through this episode. We're gonna fly through this episode as
Get
fast
out
as we
of
can.
here, Shawn.
This is written by Brett D. Bourne and directed by another one directed by Robert Radler.
Okay, I like this one a lot.
This is a Shawn episode, but this is also a Tanya episode, and this is misogyny. This is the hashtag Me Too movement.
Yeah,
I think.
And I didn't understand why Shawn was so bitter. They're on the same team. You want your teammate to be good. So in the beginning, when he was like,
I didn't understand. I mean, I understand where Shawn's coming from because I think it's more of a
pride,
a masculine pride point of view.
But I feel like he could have played it off. Like even if he tried, he's like, oh, I wasn't trying. I didn't want to like embarrass you on while you're doing this or something, and try to like play it off as actual like high school students do.
What interests me about this episode, and I believe. I did talk to Nakia about this, and you can check that out in our hashtag show archives right here on YouTube. Nakia talks about them actually being inspired by her being a decent baseball player.
Oh, really?
And that's how they came up with this episode.
Oh, that's really
pretty cool. Yeah, so I think that
because she is good. Like,
she is very good. And you can actually tell, even in her throwing motion, she actually knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and catching, I was like, whoa, she's like out of the way, like the balls aren't even coming directly at her.
I thought that this was brilliant because you can actually tell that the writers are taking a vested interest into the actors.
Yes.
And, no pun intended, morphing the characters to be who they are kind of in real life.
And like more natural acting, and like it makes them like more humanized.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of the highlights of this. And there's not a lot of notes and not a lot of errors, so we can't get through this. Shawn is a misogynist pig.
Yeah, he is. I can't believe I kind of stood up for him in the other episode. Like he is definitely a wiener.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's not really much redemption in this one, though.
No, there isn't. And I'm glad, like, Adam, again, kind of best supporting role, I guess, where he was like, hey, I'm super proud of you. And Tanya's like, thanks. Yeah, we won the game, you know? And he's like, no, for standing up for yourself.
Right.
And I was like, Adam is that friend. I love him.
Also, do we not get this weird sense that now that, like, Adam and Tanya are kind of dating? Or, like...
I don't know. Like, he does seem to be, like, the very supportive, like, hey, don't worry about him. But, I don't know. He could be, like, best friend. He replaced, like, Trini's character of, like, to support everyone.
So this here reminds me of Jezra and Migdalia. Just saying. Right? Like, I'm not just saying. Hey, JD's here. Happy birthday. Come here, JD. Come here. Get in here.
Come hither.
JD, one of our producers, his birthday's past. So I wasn't there. I was busy, but
No worries,
I'm so happy you were here right now. This is this guy's birthday. I want you guys to shout him out. What's your Instagram, JD?
Lint324.
Lint324. Give him a follow right now. He was at Angel Grove Park celebrating his birthday, which was super cool.
He made his hot dogs. It was his birthday, and he made hot dogs.
Yeah, so chat me up about your experience at because the first time you ever went to Angel Grove Park was with me.
Yeah.
But talk to me about your experience there this time around. Did you see more of the locations?
No, not really. We kind of just hung out, and then I watched the hashtag show try to make fire without lighter fluid.
Oh my god, but we succeeded! It was so good.
It was pretty awesome.
What'd you do? Rub two sticks together?
No, but we were like collecting leaves and bark because
Josh
didn't bring lighter fluid, and we were trying to light coals. And if anyone has tried to do that, it's actually really time consuming. Yeah. But we did it, and it was amazing, and it smelled like barbecue. I had to change.
Like barbecue.
So give JD a shout out. Show him your love on Instagram and Twitter. That is Lint324. Check him out there and follow all of his antics. He's actually pumping iron lately.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Ranger fit.
Ranger fit.
2 years.
Cosplay for Power Morphin.
So show your support to him. Show your support to him and give him a follow. Thanks, JD. Look at that. You already got some big happy birthdays in here, buddy.
All right.
But yeah, I want to talk about this because Adam and Tanya do remind me of Jezra and Migdalia.
Oh, I hope I can see that forever. That seems cute. Do they end up together?
Well, the hashtag show's not written yet.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Well, I mean, like in this, so I can like.
You know what? I feel like
in the show.
Like, I feel like they attempt it. Like you even hear Tanya call Adam babe at one point or baby at one point, but then it's completely dropped randomly. By the way, we got a huge super chat from Derek Hervey.
Oh wow!
Derek, you're
you.
the man, and he says, "What's up, crew? Do you all think the prospect of Lionsgate or Hasbro doing a future film adaptation of Power Rangers Zeo? Also, do you guys expect holiday accept holiday? We accept anything from you guys. Absolutely. Hashtag holiday cheers ahead. Hey, Derek, thank you so much. Holiday cheers to you too, man. You know we love you out here at that hashtag show. Let's break this down bit by bit. Do we think there's going to be an adaptation of the Power Rangers Zeo storyline in Hasbro? I actually think they're going to reboot it.
Like a full reboot for Zeo, or are you?
I think they're going to reboot the whole thing.
Do you think they're going to start with Mighty Morphin though?
Yeah.
I really like the 2017 movie. I thought they did a really good start.
I'll tell you what. I saw Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And if anything in Bumblebee kind of sets the precedent, they're going to want to reboot it.
Okay.
Unless they somehow can tie in. I guess they can use the cast currently, but they would have to tie it in because Bumblebee takes place in 87. That's not a spoiler. But it takes place in a different era. They can integrate it, I guess. But I kind of do hope they do reboot it because Bumblebee is so good. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a Power Ranger fan or even if you're an old school Transformers fan, and Daniel Nagami is,
he definitely
the first 5 minutes of that movie alone is worth going for because it's stunning to look at.
And you can check out Nagami's article on that hashtagshow.com too. He put his glowing review up there.
It is spoilery though.
It is spoilery.
Yes, be warned, it is spoilery,
Yes.
and the movie does not come out for another 2 weeks. But if you do want those spoilers, it might entice you to want to go see the movie over Aquaman. I suggest seeing it because it has a lot of heart and it's a lot of fun. I'm not a Paramount guy, but I mean, I'm not even a Transformers guy. But they do amazing things with this Bumblebee character. Sorry, I digress. Now, your second question was, do we accept fan mail? We absolutely do. Hit us up to get our address at ths@thathashtagshow.com. We'll send you our address. You can send us whatever you want, just legally.
Or even more submissions. What was your other story thing? Like last week.
We're going to drop that because Shawn is a douchebag.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're going to drop that.
Okay.
But I do.
He is.
Your story, the one that you chose, is going to go up tomorrow.
Yes.
And who's your winner, by the way?
Ice Blue. I don't know what your actual name is, but I thought yours was the best.
Well, Ice Blue. Your article's going up on our website tomorrow for all the Power Ranger world to see.
Yeah, he picked a Pegasus for Kat and a Hippogriff for Tanya.
That's a good one.
It is good, and the reasoning is really good, but it was so close. And
hey, they want to know if Nagami has an Instagram. Nagami, you have an Instagram? He does not.
Make one.
Battlestar Good. I'll tell you after. It was a joke that we were always doing.
But his would be just Nagami.
Nagami.
With a gummy bear.
But yes, this episode we're going to fly through this because we're about to be on Doctor Who in just a second here. But I think this episode was a lot of fun. I think that Shawn's a douchebag.
Yes.
I think that Tanya... I really like the fact that Tanya... It's interesting because Power Rangers does something that we're seeing in something like Bumblebee now, where Tanya is actually the one holding it down for the boys, and I like that. Yeah. Tanya's a powerful character. What are your thoughts on this one?
No, I really liked her. This characterization where she stands up for herself, and we see that Shawn is a wiener. And, like, gave him a chance, but I like that, where it's like, okay, I gave you a chance about cheating. You seem to be a nice guy. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. And then as soon as, like, he proved himself, you know, like, I'm going to be like this way, she was like, we're done. She didn't even think about it. She stood her ground. And, man, that was a good ending. And the fact that Adam was like, that was a good job. I liked what you did and supported her and didn't try to throw her down or anything like that.
I love that.
That was great.
Yeah, and I love that Adam kind of... And he didn't even tell Shawn he was wrong. It was almost just giving Tanya this sense of encouragement. Like, you know what? You did the right thing. You stand up for yourself. And I love the fact that he doesn't have to do this male thing where he has to step in and be her knight in shining armor.
Yeah, and be like, hey, you're being rude.
I thought that was brilliantly done.
Let her say what she was going to say without any influences. Like, you did a good job.
This episode, to me, was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And I think that Power Rangers Zeo, which is interesting, it was well written. Now, in terms of the actual monster fight,
it was a little lackluster.
It was a little basic, and I also think it's a little tropey because we have obviously the Japanese are huge into baseball, but it's a little tropey that this monster fight, and it's also more of the same. But it's really...
Rocky exploded though. That was pretty fun. Like he hit the ball, and like I thought he was dead. Like he exploded in like a burst of flames and fireworks.
Yeah,
so
but
that was fun.
Other than that though, the episode's pretty solid, and I love the character development. We do have some news and notes. Also, give us your ratings, and then we're gonna give our ratings. Then we're gonna close out. But here's some of the notes. Zordon and Alpha do not appear in this episode. The Zeo Megazord fight was used in the PC game Power Rangers Zeo Power Active. Tanya and Shawn break up permanently this time. Good. Shawn won't appear again until the Game of Honor. You can't wait for that one. Which also is his final episode. The beginning of the episode uses the song "Strike" from VR Troopers. The airs in this episode after the Rangers use the group kick against the monster. Tommy materializes from red teleportation beam. Easy for me to say. This is from the unintroduced Defender wheel. It doesn't stand to reason that Rocky or any Ranger would keep one half of his Zeonizer in his bag while keeping the other one on his arm.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. But in your rankings, we already see Batuzzi.
All right.
Batuzzi gives it a 4. We also got Parabelle giving it a 4. Megan Hines gives it a 3. Edward Sanchez gives it a 4. Elle gives it a...
I give it a 4.
Joe also gives it a 4. I mean...
Just for the characterization and, like, their realized...
Like I said, Tanya gets more character development in the 2 episodes that are focused around her than Aisha got in her whole run. Which is so
unfortunate. But I do love Tanya. It's an immediate connection. I like that she's a strong, independent female. She's great.
So you know we like challenges, folks. And Elle just picked a winner for our website. Here's my challenge this week. My challenge this week, since Tanya is such a strong female character in Power Rangers, give me your top 4... give me your top 4 female Power Ranger characters I think are the strongest.
From the entire series.
From the entire series. I want a little bit of a countdown there, so I'm going to only challenge you with 4. Send those in to ths@thathashtagshow.com. I'm going to pick our lucky winner, and that's going to go up for our Morphin Monday article, just like Elle's winner, Ice Blue is going to go up.
Ice Blue was good. Dustin, yours was like super creative, though.
She did have 3 that she was like struggling
and then Ray King, too. But everyone's was super interesting. A lot of people like unicorns.
Yeah.
But, man... Ice Blue, Dustin, and Ray King, you guys are all really close.
Yes, so top 4 strongest female Power Rangers out there. I'm going to choose that. It's going to be announced next week on Retro. Ranger Wrap-Up, same time, same place. and it's going to be on our website next Monday. But guys, thank you so much for watching.
And to our super chats, thank you so much.
guys are
We had a
amazing.
lot this week. It was great.
But fear not. Listen, if you like what Elle and I are doing, you can join us for Doctor Who. Even if you don't watch the show, we're going to convince you on this next
anyway.
episode. Yeah,
our
join us
chat's
anyway.
Kind of lonely.
So
Please
you
talk to us.
guys, there's 55 of you in here right now. I at least want to see half of you in Doctor Who. We love interacting with you guys. We're going to make this an interactive Doctor Who show. So join us in just about, I mean, as soon as we go off, we're going to go right back on.
Yeah, basically.
So just stick around, look for the next notification or the next thing, and we're going to be there in just a second. Elle, I'm not even going to close this out because this is part 1 of this. We're going to, the next part of the Elle and Joe show is going to be on Doctor Who.
Yes.
So join us over there right now.